All right, so let's talk some Zach Wilson. Now, it's a very anticipated start. Obviously, Zach Wilson, the number 2 overall pick. He was my favorite quarterback out of this draft. And, it did not go as certainly I had hoped, although I don't really think it was his fault. And it's kind of weird because on one hand, we're basically making the same excuses we made for Sam Darnold, right? Offensive line didn't play well, no receivers getting open. What is a quarterback supposed to do? And I would probably say that those excuses were fair for Darnold, and they're fair for Wilson now. Again, my issue with Darnold with the Jets was always sort of the other stuff, and I feel like even with Zach Wilson, there were some legitimate things that I would say that wasn't great. There also was some good plays, and again, he's a rookie quarterback. He's in a horrible situation with the Jets where they just don't have talent. And I'm not going to overreact to one game. And I actually thought that he, at times, looked very good. Made a couple of mistakes that we'll get into. And, he made some really good throws. So let's just talk about how I feel about Zach Wilson and the Jets offense as a whole. So, we'll start off with a play like this. This could be an interesting one where it's kind of, I think this is probably a good example of stuff that he's just going to have to learn. Maybe this isn't what you do, especially given the talent around you. The reality is, on a play like this, it's a cover 1 blitz, and you have a receiver running a go route towards the sidelines. So, on paper, this logically makes sense. Take this shot. Sure, I get that. One thing should mention is that the corner is playing pretty far off, so that's an advantage Carolina already. And the other thing is just that, quite frankly, the Jets don't have a lot of guys who can win on the outside consistently. I think Corey Davis is good, but I also kind of like him more as a guy who, at least at times, can be doing stuff over in the middle. So while on paper I understand the logic here, maybe this isn't the right move. Because, look, right when this play starts, you have, some stuff over the middle right there. I've circled both of those two players in yellow. Probably Wilson should have thrown it to one of those two guys. And again, it's not like they're wide open. It's not like these are guaranteed first downs, but he's playing for the Jets. You're not going to have a lot of guaranteed first downs, I don't think, unless you're playing bad defenses. Because, again, it's week 1. Maybe the Panthers' defense is just good. I don't know. But anyways, Wilson is not going to take this chance. Instead, he fires one down the field. And it's a really good throw. I had a chance to be complete, but there was just no opening right there. So it was just complete coverage that didn't allow it to be complete. And sometimes you have to say, you know what, maybe I need to take a check down here, which you're just going to have to do more with the Jets, who just don't have the talent that, like when Patrick Mahomes entered the league, he didn't have to make those decisions because guys were getting open on the outside. And some other stuff that I would say were just straight up negatives, not rookie mistakes, but just mistakes, period, where something like this, it's a cover 3 zone. I mean, it's a rookie mistake, but just what I mean is you have a route that can work against this coverage. So again, on paper, this could work, and this is kind of something you see a lot of rookie quarterbacks do. It was kind of a criticism of Justin Fields of, oh, he's a one-read quarterback. It's so is literally every rookie quarterback ever. And Zach Wilson, I think, is better than most, but he still is going to have a little bit of that. And watch what happens on this play. So Zach Wilson takes the snap. There is going to be, you can see the logic, right? Because there is a gap in this coverage. The issue is just that the receiver isn't there yet, so you can't just throw it to a window because there's not a receiver there. And I think Wilson kind of doesn't do a great job. For one thing, I would say if you're running this route, go closer over the middle. That's typically the way I would want to have you do it. Understand where the coverage is and get closer to where there's a bigger window. But still, Wilson should not be making this throw. I mean, there's a Carolina player literally right in front of the receiver he wants to throw to. It's just a bad decision. Wilson tries to fit it through that tight window anyways, but, that wasn't even really a tight window. There was no window, period. He threw it into a wall and is surprised that the ball didn't go through the wall. It's a bad decision right there from Wilson. There's no getting around it. And again, he's a rookie, makes some bad decisions. You accept that. And even something like this. So it's going to be, you have, it's a play action with a couple of slant routes towards Wilson's right. Also, a key thing to watch is going to be this block with the right tackle. Look how right when this play starts, it looked like he was kind of doing that a bit to help sell this play action. But if that is the case, Wilson has to throw it immediately. You have to get rid of this ball now, I think. And Wilson sees that he's under pressure and it doesn't love the throw. There is a linebacker over there. So if you don't want to make this throw, I get it. You don't have to. throw the ball away, though. Don't just, try to make something happen in this scenario. There's too much pressure. And again, that's kind of the thing where Wilson's so good at getting out of pressure. I see the logic behind what he's about to do. Watch how he tries to get around his pressure, and it just doesn't work, and he ends up fumbling the football. He fell on it himself. That was good, but don't do that. And certainly don't, try to throw while you're getting tackled. It's just stuff like that where it's something you can get away with in college, can't really get away with it in the pros, and it's fine. You want him making the mistakes now when the Jets aren't very talented, so that way in 2 years, when in theory you get more talent, you can be looking a little bit better. Because like something like this is what the Mike LaFleur system wants to run a lot, is run the ball, get opposing teams in zone coverage, which, their running game was horrible. And if you're going to want to run a system that, has a lot of stuff to do with running the football, well, it doesn't help too much when you're not running the football well. So that's another issue for another day. But it's going to be zone coverage. You have a receiver running over the middle. This isn't play action or anything, but it's still kind of the same idea because pre-snap, the Panthers don't know if it's going to be a run or not. And right when this play starts, so you're going to notice that there is an opening over the middle of the field. And a few times we saw guys get open, I thought Wilson did a really good job. And you can even go back to in the preseason when guys were getting open because it was preseason. He did a really good job there. So again, every quarterback obviously looks better when receivers are getting open. And for the Jets, you want to see more of this. Because look, he was able to make that throw and to get a big completion. And Davis does a great job after the catch as well. And to me, that is reason for optimism. Because one of my biggest issues with Darnold was even when things went well, he would still make mistakes with the Jets. Well, here, at least when things were going well with Wilson in a small sample size, he was able to make some good plays happen. And again, there was stuff like this where this is another just a great example of, this play, Wilson can make some throws that are just unbelievable. And this is one of those plays. In fact, he had a good amount of these plays that were unbelievable, but just weren't able to be, complete for whatever reason. So what's happening is it's quarters coverage. There's a play action, and watch the two safeties on this play. Watch how Wilson takes the snap, and the two safeties move in a little bit, so he can throw over the top. The issue is there is pressure. I thought the Jets' offensive line really pass blocked on play action very poorly, and this is an issue they had last year as well. So I don't know if it's a coaching thing or what, but that's something you would like to see them get better at for sure. However, watch Wilson sidestep the pressure, and then again, off balance, watch him just flick of the wrist all the way downfield, and I've paused it right here. There is a bit of an opening. Like, you can see how this play could potentially work, and quite frankly, I think that this is actually not even a bad throw. Look, you're going to see Corey Davis. He does get a hand on it. It's a tough catch because it was like a little bit behind, but that's something that you do kind of expect your number one receiver to catch, quite frankly. And maybe not expect, but you would hope that they could. It was a catchable ball, we'll put it that way, and given the scenario at the start, that's just an incredible play, and he had a ton of those. He had one that was just straight up dropped, and he had a couple that were caught, including one of the touchdowns to Corey Davis. So yeah, to reiterate a little bit with this whole thing, I was a bit disappointed with Zach Wilson, but not in the way you might expect, not in terms of the fact that his numbers weren't particularly great or anything, even though they actually, ended up being okay numbers. The real disappointment was sort of, I felt like, okay, the Jets offense wasn't great, and I thought they could at least be competent. They did not look competent outside of Wilson. And on top of that, I thought there were times where he didn't handle playing for a bad offense as well as he potentially could have. So those are that's what I was disappointed with. His game itself, I still have a ton of confidence in. And again, the only real concern I would say I have is just it's in the back of my head because of the whole Sam Darnold thing. But again, it's one game, and just because it didn't work for Sam Darnold doesn't mean it won't work for Zach Wilson. I believe in the prospect. I believe in Zach Wilson, and I think he'll still be great. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Wilson and his first performance? Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.